Welcome to our very favorite podcast, which is called Coaching Real Women. I have Noemi and Nina with me, and my name is Julia. And we will always start the session with turning the hourglass. So we exactly have 1 hour to spend together. I am Nina, and I'm 40 years old, and I'm working now as senior consultant for communication consulting and for change management in a startup based in Munich. And I like to work together with people and create meaningful projects. And I also like to spend time with people I love, also with myself. And I like to meet inspiring people in the coaching bubble, but also outside, like you. And I love nature. I love hiking in the mountains. I love the sea. I love sunsets and I love traveling. So I was in Vietnam several weeks before during Christmas and New Year's Eve with my family. It was so nice. And yeah, I love my life. And I'm really happy to share some of my thoughts and my experiences with you and all our podcast fans as well. So over to you, Noemi.
I'm Noemi, and originally I'm from Tanzania. I moved to Germany 2 years and 3 months ago. So it has been quite a journey, a lot of changing, a lot of discovering, knowing myself, knowing what I like the best, letting go the things that don't really suit me anymore. So it's has been really quite a journey. I work mostly into D&I, diversity, equity, and inclusion. I really love creating a space where everybody can feel that they belong. Everybody can be empowered to contribute or can be empowered to be able to share what they want to share with the rest of the everybody that they are around people. Oh my God. Okay. Now, anyways, so thank you so much. And what I like, apart from my job and being outside of working hours, I like traveling. I've been really traveling a lot. I have those crazy trip where you go with the bus somewhere and then you go to another city. And it's something that makes me happy. And also, I think it's helped me to recharge my energy as well. Getting to know new environment, new food, speaking different languages as I'm learning Dutch currently. So it's just quite an amazing experience.
My first question to the two of you would be, what does natural circle mean for you? Like the circles and nature, what comes to your mind? What kind of associations do you have with that? And what kind of importance does it play in your life? So maybe Nina, you want to start and then maybe.
Sure. Yes. Okay.
So, as you know, and as the other podcast guests may know after the podcast, I'm also, or I decided to become a certified trainer for forest bathing and nature coaching. So I think this is why I also have a special connection to nature. And I experienced that, or it was a new thing for me because I didn't know it before so clearly that we are part of the nature. Nature is, yes, as you already mentioned, a whole circle. So we have the 4 seasons as well. But we are also one part of the whole nature around us. And so, like the 4 seasons are flowing every year, so our cycle, we as a human being, also flowing through the year. We often say it's all about energy. So it's energy that surrounds us, it's energy within our bodies, it's energy within ourselves. And when we are close to nature, our bodies and our cells resonate with the energy surrounding us and resonate with nature. And that's why we are getting a closer connection to nature and also to ourselves as well, so that we can calm down, we can relax, and we will come more into our flow and our deeper rhythm, the rhythm of nature, but also the rhythm of ourselves. And I think this is why, yes, after several coaching trainings and after knowing that, I can really feel it that we are part of the bigger one and it doesn't end with our bodies. Yes, it doesn't end with our bodies or it isn't limited by our body. It's, yeah, everything is energy and we are one part, a little part of the whole universe. This is my first, my first imagination of nature. But nature also has some other effects on our mind, body, and soul, and also on our health. But maybe we can talk about it maybe a little bit more in detail. So, what is your opinion or imagination of nature?
That's a really a good explanation. And I know for sure Nina and Julia, they're very good when it comes to nature. And I can tell you for sure, that has a big part and impact into my life. But I just discovered this 2 years ago since I moved here. So let me give you a quick story. When I used to live in my country, I used to live in a very big city. So getting yourself to have time to go and experience nature, it will have to take you driving 1 hour or 2 hours to go to a place. But also it's not I used never lived too close to the nature. So it was really consuming. So I never had a habit of going to the park or go somewhere, take a walk or read a book. And because also taking a walk in my culture, when you're walking, people will be asking you where are you going? But here in Germany, people go and take a walk. They call it spazieren. Yeah, something. Yeah. Spazieren gehen. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, and then I moved here to Germany, and now I can see there's a lot of beautiful parks and where you can go and you can just sit there and it's safe, things like that. And it's safe. You can just go read a book. And it's really created something in me. It's like a new energy entering myself. And I'm like, oh, okay. When I go to the park, sit there and do nothing, not even reading a book. It's just you clear your mind, you start thinking of something new, and the creativity new comes out, the good ideas comes out. So I feel like it's really playing a very major role into changing a lot of who I am now after 2 years. And I love going to the park and just to clear my head. I can just go to a park, take a walk, and look how beautiful nature is, things like that. So I love it.
I totally feel it.
Yeah, I mean it's your profession. Otherwise, you wouldn't have chosen it to incorporate that into your coaching practice and also teaching others. Now, there were two questions that I had. One is, my scientific background would ask me, okay, what kind of statistics did you just quote when you said when we are in nature, our cells resonate? So is there really something empirical? Is there evidence behind? This would be my first question. And then my second one would be the other day I was on a walk because I live very close to the woods. It's only like 500 meters of walking, and then I in the forest. And there are some very old trees, and one of them is dead. And you make a turn, and then you see it like right at the end of the road or the path that you're walking, and it's full of moss. And I couldn't stop myself from really standing there and looking at this tree and mourning that this very big tree was dead. And then when I saw all the moss, I thought, okay, maybe it's not that dead in the end. And then I touched it. And I was touching the tree for, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes. I started crying. The tears were flowing down. And I was asking the universe, please give me a sign. Why am I here? And what I saw inside was as if energy was sucked into a big tunnel, like a lot of energy coming and then being sucked into a tunnel, and it didn't stop. That was the vision that I had. I was always trying with my rational mind was trying to come up with an interpretation. Like, what does it tell us? Like, why is the energy being sucked into? And to this day, I have no idea what I saw, what it was. And in the meantime, two people were walking by. They were Spaziergänger. They were walking, hikers. And I felt a little bit embarrassed, but just a little bit. And then I went back into trying to find out what this energy being in this tunnel, what it meant. As if it was a portal, you know? So please don't call me crazy. I know I'm not. I just know I'm not. And if this is not for you, then leave our channel because you will get more of that.
More of that feminine energy. I had a little goosebump while you were talking. Yes. So should I say something to your experience? So it's interesting because our mind always want to have an explanation what is happening, because we are maybe not always, but often we are in our mind and not in our body, and it's sometimes difficult for us only just to feel, yeah, and to let energy flow again. So I love your questions. The first question, there is some statistic or some science behind the question, why do we feel so relaxed in nature? Why has it such an positive effect on our mental and mental health and our health in general? Forest bathing is originally from Japan. In Japan, it is called Shinrin-yoku. It's a kind of bathing in nature, consciously in nature with all your senses. So you can describe it like that. And yes, there is, since the 1980s, it's an own science field. It's called, in English, maybe you can translate it with environment medicine, something like that. In German, you would say Umweltmedizin, in which researchers studied how nature affects our mind, our bodies, our health, and why is it so, or why has it such a positive impact on our health and well-being. So in Japan, it's a regular practice to go outside, to enjoy nature, for reducing stress, for a health prevention, something like that. And it's really interesting because when you will stay in nature for around about 30 minutes a day or 1 or 2 longer times in a month, so you can see the positive effects, because nature will reduce stress and also cortisol, which is our main stress hormone. It has positive effects on our immune system. It will strengthen our immune system. It will lower blood pressure as well, heart rate. It's good for our cardiovascular system. Yeah, I think it's the right word. And to prevent stress-related illnesses like pain, back pain, sleep problems, depression, something like that. Because the cells within our body resonate with nature, and it's also the atmosphere, the colors, the brown, the green of the tree. So it has a calming effect on our mind, and we feel safe, we feel grounded in nature. And also the killer cells in our body, which protect our bodies from diseases, also cancer maybe as well, as one example, can be activated around about 40 or 50%. So you will have more killer cells, and they will be more active when you will be in nature several times a week or a month. That was the most fascinating fact for me, that that we can prevent some diseases like that only with going outside and being outdoor in nature, and not only in front of screens or in busy cities. Yeah, because our body is naturally biological at home in nature. So this is our home. And we are not made for the busy life in cities, for electro smog, something like this, for for sitting in front of screens all day. And this is why we are in a constant state of stress. And our nervous system also is in a constant state of stress. So, and we have to remember what is good for us and what do we need for our mental health and for our bodies to calm down, to reduce stress, and to take some breaks out of our stressful daily routines. Yeah.
I really like how you explaining everything, but now I want to ask you, like, on a practical way, if you're doing forest bathing, you have just to go for a walk in the forest, or you have to do something different or something more.
Yeah, so taking a walk is also a good idea, because you will breathe. Yeah, you will have a gentle movement. You will breathe the health air in nature, and there are also different activities and exercises for your sensory, to get reconnected with your body, to calm down. Some kind of meditation is also very often part of a forest bathing session. Yes, something like that.
Then I have a very specific question, and it actually relates to what Noemi asked. Like, if we only have 10 minutes or so, and the three of us would go into the forest right now, what would you, like a real practice? Maybe you can guide us through it, although we are not in the middle of the forest. Would you give us a little bit of 1, 2, 3 step protocol that you should actually do when you are?
So a short-term forest bathing as well. Yes. You have different phases in a forest bathing. So when you start, the first challenge is to calm down from stressful daily routines. So then you will walk into the forest very slowly. Yeah, the first challenge is to very slowly. So I think it would not. No, it would be good for you, Julia, but it would be a real challenge for you, because so I have a hurry when I will go walking with Julia. The first target is to calm down, to slow down. So you have to go really slow, and you will experience nature with all your senses. What does it, what can you smell? What can you maybe taste? What can you see? What can you hear? What does it feel like when I touch a tree? Touch a tree or a kind of flower. So this is a typical exercise at the beginning, and then later on, dive deep, dive deeper in the atmosphere of nature. Then you can, for example, do a kind of meditation, a tree meditation. So you choose a tree which is especially for you in this moment. Then you can feel the energy of the tree. You already had explained your experience, and I also know it. And it's really often the effect is that you get a goosebump or your teeth ran down. It's crazy, and I really love it too. And then you can stand or sit in front of the tree, and then you can relax with a short meditation, 10 minutes or sometimes longer. It also depends on the participants. Yeah, some are very open for meditation and love to calm down and say, "Oh, please let us sit here longer than 30 minutes." And some other people who made or didn't make the experience with meditation yet, maybe it could be a bigger challenge, and it would be also okay to dive in only for a few minutes in a meditation. Then you will open up for the energy of the nature. In the same way, you will feel close to Mother Earth. Yes, you can feel the roots out of your legs and your feet going down and deep into the earth. You feel grounded, you feel safe, you feel calm. And then you don't, in the meditation, you don't have to think about different things. So you can also enjoy the experience. And then you can also combine this sensory exercises, also with a kind of personal development exercises. So maybe in this meditation, it comes up a thought or a wish, yeah, because calm is also a really nice space to reconnect with yourself. You also had mentioned that the question came up and you thought, why am I here? Yeah. Or what are my deepest longings? What is my, yes, what are my dreams? What about me? What is going on inside of me? So in this space of calm, which you don't have very often in your daily routines. So maybe some feelings and thoughts show up, and maybe you want to share it with a tree and to be supported by the trees, by nature, by the universe, to bring this to life. Yeah, these are only 2 or 3 examples. But after this deeper phase of forest bathing, you always have to take your participants out into normal life, back to normal life, and then you will enter the 3rd phase to reflect, to go out of the forest together, and to maybe it's for me it's also important to give them something for the daily routines which they can integrate, so that they can create this little spaces of calm, or the little connection of nature or to nature with themselves. And it's also possible to do some exercises and to create this kind of space of connection at work or at home, maybe through plants, through simple exercises, breathing techniques, or meditations for, for work or at home or something like that. So that they just remember it's important to take a short break and to have this reconnection with myself within my or during my daily routines, and to calm down and to be a kind of more mindful with me and my health and my mental health.
We'll be having you as a certified forest again.
Forest bathing?
Forest bathing. And as we want to experience that, especially with you, a very knowledgeable one. Maybe we can have something like that. It's quite interesting, like when you how you can connect yourself with the nature, how you can meditate, how you can help yourself calm down. I think it's quite a nice, something very nice to do.
I was thinking, okay, the forest, you can go there for free. Why would I need a trainer for that?
No, but we are lucky. We have one.
Yes, we are lucky. But also, I think already in the beginning, when we said that, you said you have to slow down when you enter the forest. Already that would be one of the biggest differences from me just taking a walk or me going for a run, because I wouldn't calm down and I wouldn't go slowly, mindfully, at least not for more than 5 minutes. I would then, like, even if it would be my New Year's resolution, right? To say, okay, from now on, I will have one slow walk in the forest, I wouldn't. So I do see the necessity of having someone holding the space.
Yes,
making you accountable.
When you talk to people and you talk about forest bathing, they say, these are the people that are hugging trees, right?
Also,
yeah. And I say, yes, not only that, but of course it's a part of, yeah. And then I explain, and then okay.
One thought that crossed my mind a little bit earlier when you spoke was, I don't know, have you watched the Pandora movies?
I think you already talked about it, but I haven't seen them.
Okay.
yet.
Have you seen
No.
the Avatar movies?
No.
Okay, then I have to explain it. In both versions of the film, there is Pandora is this very wonderful planet. I think it has a little bit less oxygen than normal Earth. So people who need to go there need to wear masks. But the normal creatures in Pandora, these are these avatars. They are not the avatars. They are the original inhabitants of Pandora. So they are just normally breathing the air that is there. They are hunting, and they are really closely connected to nature, to Pandora's nature. And the avatars are then specifically created suits, so to speak, where the scientists will then upload onto, and then they can control with their brains. They can control the avatar that then goes into the real civilization of the Navi. These are the people living on Pandora. And because the Navi are so closely connected to Mother Earth, to Pandora, and they call them Awa. Awa is it's like Gaia in our They have trees, and they can connect their, I would say it's like part of their synapses are on a longer tail growing out of their back of their heads. They have a longer tail there, and then they can connect with these synapses to the other living entities in Pandora. For example, they can connect to a dragon, and then they can fly the dragon. They can connect to something like horses, and then they can ride these horses without needing to have reins, but only the thoughts are controlling, connecting. And they also, and this is why I'm telling the story, they also connect to Awa with Awa's special trees, where they put their synapses to the tree branches, and then they communicate with Awa. And they hear the voices of all their ancestors, everyone, because you said everything is energy. So the bodies are gone, but the spirits are still in Awa, and the songs they sing are still audible, and the stories are still there. And it's so mind-blowing, this connection to this Awa tree. I mean, they have several sources, several trees. These are very holy places. And then, of course, the bad humans, they destroy these. And it's part of the story. Of course, it's a movie, right? There must always be a bad guy and a good guy. But just this thought of connecting your own synapses to nature, Awa in that sense, but in our world it would be Gaia. It's just so mind blowing.
Yes, it's incredible.
I wish we could. I wish we could connect to Gaia in the same sense.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now you need to watch the movies.
Yes.
Now we have to watch the movie.
Yeah.
So it's the whole universe, and we are only a little part of it.
And how often should we do, like, for example, if I decided to have a forest bathing for myself, how often should I do that? Like, I just want to know.
Every day, Noemi.
Oh my God.
No, just kidding. I know that, well, we all know the struggle. It's not enough time to go outside every day, especially with kids or with working all day. Yes, it also has positive effects when you do it regularly for a few minutes a day, or the statistic says it's also quite good to for you, especially for you.
The numbers lady.
Yes. A few minutes per day, or 1 or 2 longer sessions in the month. So when you go hiking for 2 times in a month, so it's great. It also has such measurable, is it right?
Yeah.
Effects on our health.
Noemi, I'm gonna ask you a question because to be honest, as a German, having grown up in Germany and only seen very few parts of the world, to me, Africa is one big continent.
And that you know that, because people always think Africa is one country.
Nah.
They'll be asking you, "But what you find in Nigeria?" And I'm like, I live in East Tanzania. How would I know? So glad.
I know there's many countries in Africa, and I know it's a huge continent. And I know that even within one country, there is so many tribes and tribal languages and so on. How can you connect to what your traditions, or maybe traditions of your ancestors, were when it comes to connecting with nature, connecting with ancestors, connecting with, I don't know, what's your equipment?
Spirituality.
Yes, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting. Our culture, yes. How is it in Africa?
Now, that's a very good question, and I'll try as much as I can to explain. So there's two, okay, I can say it in my country, but mostly of African families. Of course, you have your ancestors, you're coming from deep, deep, deep down of a certain tribe or clan or kingdom back in the days. With that, there's still some families and a lot of people still practice how our ancestors used to do. For example, we never had Christianity when it comes like to religions. We never had something like that. So we had like traditionals, the way of connecting to our ancestors. And I remember the tribe that I'm coming from. They used to go, according to my great great grandfather, they used to go to some places. If they don't have rain, they go to some places, they connect with nature. It's like they used to have a very, very big tree, very baobab tree. Baobab. Yeah. So they go there, they connect with nature, they say their prayers, they give sacrifice. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be a cow, a goat, and then they go home. And then later the rain will come. So that's how they used to connect with nature. And then the Christianity came, they decided most of them not to connect with their ancestors like that. And now they decided like to go to church. But still until today, a lot of society go and connect with nature, because you can go and ask for something and then maybe a leader of a specific tribe will guide you through to get your answers. So they know they've been inherited those powers and those energies from their great great grandfathers, probably families, and now they hope to transform things to people. So a good example, I never used to eat beef my whole life growing up. Beef was never something in my meal, because whenever I ate, I used to get sick. And then I went to my grandfather, and then he went and then to a forest, and then he came back with some leaves, and then he told me
Leaves and herbs.
Yeah, and herbs. And he told me, I'm gonna put this into tea, please drink it, and then later you're gonna eat meat. And then he did that. And then from there until today, I do eat meat. So I'm not sure how he used to connect, but a lot of nature also, I can say it's like nature is medicine, because a lot of herbs, leaves, they heals our body. So that I use a lot of medicines, I can say, like herbs to protect myself, to increase my immunity into my body, and even cure myself when I'm sick. So how our myself and a lot of African connects with nature into that healthy way. Yeah.
Yeah, I really love it. So yes, because it's a different culture and it's a kind of different knowing, which is so important and so meaningful for today, because we've forgotten that in the generations before. Yes, but both cases have in common that nature is incredibly good for us.
And you can even have, like, even now I'm here, but if I call my mom, like, I'm feeling like I'm having a heartburn, and my mom would be like, hey, you can eat sugar cane. You know, sugar cane is good. And then when you find a sugar cane and eat, it's really take the heartburn away. So nature is really good to our bodies.
Yeah.
Medicine.
Yeah.
So whatever you do, I think people should do better to protect nature.
Yeah. And last but not least, it's not our own field. You said that
these people who can, connect to the ancestors, basically they inherited it from their great father. So it's like a male ancestry line. Funnily, I have not much connection to herbs, and I barely know what kind of tree I'm seeing, and I only know European trees, right? So
not trees from elsewhere. So my knowledge is very limited. But my grandmother, so my mother's mother, the female line, my grandmother didn't have much education. She was the youngest of several children, and her older sister was 14 years older than her, so already grown. She was basically an accident that came late, right? And she needed to, be quickly done with everything so she could help and support the family. So my grandmother didn't go to school for long. She didn't have much education, but she had herbal knowledge. What she did was then she had her cupboard full of herbs and her books. And whenever someone was sick, she was always, doing a little potion and then handing over some herbs. And as a child, you would never question what you got there, right? Of course. And it helped, of course, maybe because you trust, I don't know. But she was also working as a gardener. She was planting trees. So that was her life, like she didn't need much knowledge. She was planting and harvesting plants, herbs, and healing through that.
Out of letting it go, it has really to be something you're ready to face, because I know a lot of us, we save the things that don't even save us anymore, but you're scared of letting go things. And sometimes you're like, okay, this is exhausting. This is not something that I want to do. And it's clear it's not something you really want, but you're still holding on to those things. So I think it's also, I feel like sometimes we need to prepare our mind when you're letting go, because it's not easy. It's really hard. It's hurtful. It's painful. But once you are able to let go of those things, yeah, and you'll be in a very, very nice space for yourself and connecting.
It was so nice. I really liked our conversation, and I think we could fill such more time slots with inspiring discussions. And I'm really also looking forward to some more discussions with you, maybe with some other podcast guests. And yes, I really like it. Thank you very much, girls.